Alright, so in this video I'm going to be showing you my Easter candy holders. So in this particular video I'm going to show you the design space setup and everything you need to know for that. I will show you how to build the basket, the Easter bunny, and the chick in this video. They are all essentially the same, made exactly the same way. It just is going to be, the layers will just look a little different depending on the particular design. The Easter eggs you're seeing here, I'm going to link those in a separate video. The Easter eggs are going to be made very similar as well, and the Easter eggs are going to be a freebie on the blog at abbykirstencollections.com, and our premium members for our member vault will get access to the eggs as well as our Easter bunny, our chick, and our Easter basket design. So all of our members will have access to everything. You can find links to get these templates as well as supplies, resources, and everything that I'm showing you here in the link that is below in the video description. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's review the supplies we're going to need. I'm going to show you the design space setup, and then we're going to build this super cute Easter craft together. Alright, so let's go over the supplies you're going to need for this project first. You're going to need cardstock. I recommend using 65-pound to 80-pound cardstock. If you go any lighter than 65-pound, your candy holder will not hold up very well because it needs to have some stiffness and durability so it's not flopping around and it can support the weight of the candy. So at least 65-pound up to 80-pound is what I recommend for this project. You're gonna of course need it in your choice colors. So whatever one of my characters you're making, if it's the chick, the bunny, one of our other candy holders, you'll just choose the corresponding colors according to your preference, or if you wanna follow the suggested colors that come with the cut file, then you can do that as well. You're also going to need to have these half plastic ornament balls. These are the kinds you find at like craft stores at Christmas time, but Amazon sells them year-round, so you can find them there anytime. I use an 8-centimeter ball here, and that is what I've scaled the files to fit with, but if you're using an alternate size, like I said, I'll show you in the design space setup how you can alter that for your particular plastic ball. I am going to be using my Cricut Maker machine for this. You can use the Explore. The only thing you'll need to change if you're using the Explore model is that you will not be able to use the perforation tool. We're going to be using the perforation tool to create an easy place in the back of our design to punch through with our fingers so our recipient can get the candy. Now, if you don't own a Maker or Maker 3 model, then you're not going to be able to use the perforation tool. However, you can just leave that part out of the tutorial or replace it with changing the line type to score to sort of mark the area that your recipient can open it in the back to make it a little bit easier for them. So I would recommend a scoring tool or scoring stylus if you're on an Explore model that doesn't offer the perforation tool, just as an alternative to this. You may want to have some liquid glue on hand. You can use any type of craft liquid glue. I'm using the Tombow brand here. For some of the more intricate parts, we'll use that. And then for layering our actual design, I'm using foam tab tape or 3D foam tape for crafts. There's lots of these resources at craft stores and online. I'm going to link my resources in the post that goes with this tutorial. You may also want to have a weeding tool in order to help yourself get those little sticky backs off of the foam tape as well. And then of course you'll need to have a Cricut mat and then some sort of candy of choice. Since I'm doing an Easter theme here, I went with some of these little Cadbury chocolate eggs, or you could do Reese's eggs or Robin's eggs, whatever type of candy you want to put into your particular gift that you're making here. So those are all the supplies you're going to need for this project. Let's go ahead and get set up in Design Space, and then we'll start to cut out and assemble this.
Okay, so this is the design space setup for my candy holders, and this setup is really going to apply to any of my candy holders if you're using my designs from Abbi Kirsten Collections or my Etsy shop, catchingcolorflies.etsy.com. So this is a very easy process, and it's going to allow you to perforate the backs of these, and if you don't have the perforation tool because you own an Explorer or a different model, then you can just leave that part out or just change it to a score line to sort of mark the area where your recipient can open them. They might need like a small pair of scissors or something in that case though. So let's go ahead and bring one of these files in and set them up. So I'm just going to get all of these existing files off of my screen here. I'm going to group them together and hide them over here in my layers panel. Also going to change my machine type there to Maker. Alright, so to bring these files in, you're going to upload them. You'll need to upload the SVG cut file. So I'm going to click on the upload button and then click on upload image and browse my computer to bring the file in. So I'm going to double click to bring in that Easter bunny design. Here is the preview. We're going to click upload at the bottom right corner, and then we will click under recent uploads to highlight that selection and click add to canvas. Okay, so here's our little bunny file that we've brought in here. So there's a couple things you need to know with any of my candy holders. First, this circle that you're seeing here on my screen, this is not something you need to cut out. So this circle right here is the exact size of where that plastic ball is gonna sit inside of our bunny here or any of our candy holders. So it's gonna give you the ability to know what that size is when you're scaling this as a group, so that if you're using something different other than an 8 cm ball like me, you will be able to calculate what that needs to be for the center here. So I'm going to go ahead and just ungroup this using my ungroup button at the top right hand side. And if we click on our circle here, we'll see that it's just a little bit over 3.1 inches, which is equivalent to 8 cm because that's the ball I'm using. So like I said, if you're using a different ball, let's say you're using a 10 cm ball, you'll want to convert to what that is in inches. You can just use a Google converter online, and you'll want to scale this as a group. So if you need to go a little larger, you would select everything on your canvas, and then you would click and drag to scale as a group, click off, take a look at what that size is, and you'll be able to know that you're matching that size to the inside of this circle here. So that's just for reference for if you're trying to make these a different size with a different size ball. I'm gonna leave it where it was. An 8 cm ball is quite popular, so if you buy that, this should already be working seamlessly well for you. It will be scaled to that size. Once you've done that, you can just get rid of this. You can hide it in your layers panel over here in case you want to bring it back, or delete it if you want to. The next step is this black circle that we see in the middle. We need to change that from a basic cut operation to a perforation operation. Again, if you do not have a maker or a maker 3 or a model that works with the perforation tool, then you will need to change this maybe to a score line instead to sort of mark the area. But ideally perforation, if you do have the ability to use that tool. You'll want to select just that circle there. So we can see that is selected over here in our layers panel as well. And we'll want to click on operation and change it to perforate. The very last thing we need to do is attach this perforation circle to the base of our bunny. So looking over here in my layers panel, I'm going to scroll down and I locate the base of my bunny here. I'm just going to hold my shift key and click on that so that both the base of the bunny and the perforation circle are selected. And then we're going to click the attach tool. You might see it jump forward like this because we've attached our layers together, but now our machine will know to perforate right on this back here. And all you'll need to do to get this back is click the arrange and send it to back, and it will return to its normal position. It's a good idea to save your project as well, so go ahead and click save as, or give it a name, or update the existing file that you're already working in like I am. And now our bunny is all prepped and ready to go. If you want to change any of these colors here, you could do this on the screen here. It can be helpful to use the color sync tool that's over here at the top of our layers panel. So that if we click on that color sync tool, you'll see all the colors that are currently shown here on our screen. And let's say you don't care about making the bunny have 2 different shades of white or gray. You could consolidate those by clicking and dragging over here, and then it would just auto sync those colors so that you'll have less mats to cut out with layered colors. So that's just a handy tool to know that that's there if you're wanting to change or consolidate any of these colors. So all you need to do now is click on your Make It button and select your materials. So if you're using 12 by 12, you can leave it at that. If you're using 8.5 by 11 cardstock, which is a little bit more popular, you might need to select that option and click on Continue. And then it will connect to your machine and we will select our cardstock material to cut this out with. Now, one other thing I want to say here is even if you're making the chick or the eggs, the preparation will all be the same. So if we were to import a different file in this collection, you would still follow the same process of uploading and adding to Canvas. And then again, you would see that circle there. You would be able to scale if needed, and if not, then you could just get rid of it by hiding it in your layers panel over here. And again, go through the process of selecting that black circle and changing it to perforation if that's an option for you, and then attaching it to the base layer, just like that, and send it to the back, and make sure you save your project. You would do exactly the same steps for any one of these files. All right, let's go ahead and cut these out.
Okay, so my machine is flashing now. I've selected my medium weight cardstock, and we're gonna go ahead and start cutting out each of these layers in our colored cardstock per layer, as it is prompting us to do in Cricut Design Space. So I'm gonna push that double flashing arrow in order to load the mat. It's gonna take a minute, and it's going to scan the mat to make sure that it is long enough for the particular project. And then once it does this, it's going to go ahead and flash that play or Cricut icon button, and you can press that to proceed with the cut. Okay, our first cut is done here. I'm just going to pull this off my mat. It's always good practice to peel your mat away from your material so that you don't end up curling your material, especially if you're working with cardstock. When you reach the cut that requires the perforation blade, if you're able to use that, you'll need to switch it out. So switch your fine point blade out for the perforation blade. And we'll go ahead and have it perforate, and then we'll put our fine point blade back in so that it can cut the design out around it. Like I said before, if you do not have the maker, you will not be able to use the perforation tool unless you have a maker series, but you could always replace it with a scoring stylus if you're with a different machine. That way you can at least sort of mark the spot that your recipient can carefully open the package instead of just thinking they're supposed to rip it apart. Once the perforation tool has completed its action, you'll want to go ahead and remove that from your housing without unloading the mat, and then put your fine point blade back in. Go ahead and click that go button again, and it will now cut the design out around the perforation. Let's get started first with our little chick. He's just so stinking cute. I love it. All right, so I'm gonna scoot these back just a little bit here. And I've already got my designs cut out. We just went over how to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and first you wanna make sure that you have your alignment correct, because you don't wanna end up putting the tape on the wrong side and then you go and place it down and you realize, uh-oh, it's not, aligning properly. So make sure you check that first. And then once you do, you can go ahead and flip that design over. Like I said in the supply section, I am using an 8-centimeter plastic half ornament ball here. There are resources below for you, and we just went over how to scale your design if you're using a different size ball. So I'm going to be using that 3D foam tape. They make it in strips and in little like squares and dots, so it's really up to you what you want to use. Either is going to work. I've used both several times. So I'm just going to come in here and randomly place a bunch of these little foam tab pieces here. And you especially want to pay attention that you have plenty around the opening, because that's where it's going to make that connection to the back here and keep that candy ball in place. So just pay attention to that and make sure you get enough stickiness going around. That way it doesn't fall apart on you. All right, here we go. And then I like to use the weeding tool to remove the backs. It's quite handy. Of our little 3D foam tape here, it's a little bit cumbersome to work with, but using a weeding tool can be very helpful. So I'm using some little robin's eggs here. You could use candy M&Ms as well. So I have some peanut M&Ms that I put in here. You could put some regular size M&Ms. So any of those are gonna work. Just, pick whatever candy you would like. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. You don't wanna overfill it because then it'll get like really heavy on the design, but a nice handful there. And then I'll take my base piece here and I will flip that just like so. And the little top of our ornament that sticks out there, you just want to rotate that to where you know it's not going to be showing. So for me, that's a good like spot, because you don't want it to be down here where it's thinner and then it'll be sticking off the end. So just pay attention to where that's at and just kind of shift that around there. And then you want to take a moment and hover until you get that placement right. You might have to shift the ball a little bit as you're coming down to get the alignment. Good, press. Make sure all of those little pieces of tape are getting connected there so it will stay in place. Okay, there we go. So the mechanics of it is completely done. All we need to do now is just add on our details for our little chick. So we're gonna add on his wings. See, it's a good idea to check. Again, make sure everything's going the right direction and is aligned. We'll put his little beak together here and his little eyes. So for the beak, I'm gonna layer this together with some glue. It's a 2-layer piece here. So I'm just gonna flip that over and grab a little bit of glue to layer that together, just like that. And then I'll grab my foam tape again for the wings here. There we go, and the other side. This is a really cute craft to do, and it's not hard. And the fact that you're using tape, you can get kids involved with this. You know, a lot of times with certain crafts, it's like hot glue guns and things, and we don't like doing that with younger kids. So the fact that everything with this is tape makes it really kid friendly. My kids are currently 7 and 8 years old, so they are a perfect age to help making these. My daughter loves to do anything that involves a weeding tool. So the fact that I use a weeding tool to get the backs of these tapes off, I basically stick them and she grabs them from me and starts taking all the backs off with the weeding tool because she loves using it so much. So whatever your kid likes to do the most, most kids probably would like filling up the candy the most if I had to guess. And this can be a really great thing that kids can make as a gift, or even just make for their class or their teachers. Okay, so I've got the little shell piece here, and we're just gonna place that along the bottom and take a minute to make sure it's aligned properly. And then I'm gonna grab a couple more of these squares for the eyes. You could just glue the eyes directly onto if you wanted. You don't have to use the tape. Sometimes I opt for using the tape for the eyes, sometimes I don't, depending on the shape of the eye. For the chick, there's plenty of space to add a little bit of tape to the back, so I do that to elevate and give his face a little bit more dimension. All right, there is our little Easter chick. So super cute. Absolutely love this one. Very easy to make. Let's go ahead and make the bunny next, and then we'll end on the Easter basket. Really, the mechanics of these are all exactly the same. So I'm showing this here just to be kind of thorough, but once you understand just the general process of making these candy holders, if you're continuing to use my templates, and I have several other designs like pets and things like that, then it's really easy to just know how to make them once you've done it a couple times. So, all right, so again, with this, I'm going to tape this up first. So grabbing all of my little squares. Okay, so I've got my tape all ready to go here now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my candy again. Okay, I'm gonna take my bunny here and I'm gonna flip this around. And again, I like to put that little top of the ornament kind of where I know it'll be easily concealed. It's not sticking out of the bottom or anything like that. So I'm just gonna position that there, and then we're gonna take this guy who's ready to go right over the top, and we're gonna get it lined up. Okay, and just like with the chick, all we need to do now is add on some of the details. So I have his little ears the pink part of his ears. There's a little flower crown that comes with it, but you could absolutely leave this off if you don't want to add the flower crown on it. There's little additional layers for the feet in case you want to make these different colors. So it's probably hard to tell in the video, but this is actually more of a yellow-white paper with a undertone blue-white paper to add contrast just very so slightly to the bunny. But that's completely up to your preference, of course. So you technically don't even have to put these feet on if you don't want to, because he's got his little one sticking out there. But I like to have kind of that 3D effect going around the entire bunny. So I'm going to add some tape on here. Okay, there we go. And then the ears here, you'll notice there's a like concave cutout, and that's so when you place the foam tape in, it comes up to the same level with the rest of the paper, and it's not sticking excessively out beyond his little ears there. So I'm gonna grab tape for those. Okay, so we're gonna add on his little eyes here. Now you could use tape for this if you want. With the shape of these eyes being a little bit smaller than the chicks, I opt for glue in this case, but again, purely up to your preference and what you want to do for your particular craft. His little mouth on. Generally when you're working with slightly smaller pieces, it's much easier to work with glue than with the tape, and you want to save the tape for the larger elements. Okay, so you could leave your bunny just like this if you didn't want to add the flowers. I'm going to do the flower here, and you're just going to place these down, and you'll take each one of these little layers and line them up to the layer below it. Alright, and once you get your flowers put together, then you can just add some 3D foam tape along the top of the bunny head if you're adding this part on, and go ahead and place that. There we go. So our little bunny's now finished. Super cute. We've done our chick and our bunny, and let's go ahead and do the Easter basket last. So we're going to make the Easter basket here, and it's going to follow the same concept of just layering this stuff together the same way we did. And I'll show you how I'll add the eggs in on the basket as well. So I've got all of my pieces here. There's 3 basket layers, and then we have Easter eggs. And it comes with 3. You could, I suppose, cut out more if you wanted to. It might be a little hard to get them in there, but I'm going to do those 3. And then we have our grass, the little bow, and I think that's it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is for this first part, this basket weave piece, we're just going to use glue and place it on this piece here. So first, check your alignment. Make sure you have it the right side. And it looks like we do. So I'm gonna flip this over, and I'm gonna use glue on this side. So just going around. And with the basket, you kind of just have to come in and dot the glue. Okay, and then once you get that, pick it up carefully and flip it here, just like this. I'm going to let that set up for just a minute, and I'm going to do the Easter eggs. So I've already layered these 2 together, again, just with glue. So I'm going to grab these 2 pieces, make sure they're aligned correctly. Okay, like that. And add some glue here. And put those 2 together. Just like that. And then for our grass here, what we're going to do is we're going to glue each of these behind the grass. So it can be helpful at this point just to flip the eggs over and add a little glue here on the back. Kind of place those in there. Do a little on the side. get those placed. And you can flip that over. Make any adjustments before the glue sets. You may want to shift them a little bit. Okay, there we go. And then this whole piece is going to go on the back of this. So you're going to flip the basket part over here and add glue along this part. Place that down, just like that. And because we did a lot of gluing with the basket in particular, I do recommend giving this maybe like 3 to 5 minutes to kind of let the glue grip before you start moving on to this part. So I'm gonna just kind of flip this and give it a minute to set. And then with your eggs, if you want, you can gently pull them in front of the basket handle for all the glue sort of sets together, so it looks like that. Super duper cute. And then we could also add our bow if we wanted to. I'm just doing glue for that part, and I'm reserving my tape for the connecting piece here for our ornament ball. So again, you'll need some candy. All right, so I have my candy here. And I'm just going to put that in, and then we'll go ahead and do just like we did all the other ones. Flip it. Again, pay attention to where that little knob is going. I'm going to do mine kind of off the top here like that. And then we're going to flip this whole piece back over and add our foam tab tape around the back here. Okay, so this is all ready to go, and now I'm just going to get this lined up just like we did with our other ones. So I'm going to flip this over. Okay, and there is our Easter basket design. So we did our chick and our bunny and our Easter basket design. They all look so cute. I absolutely love making candy holders. Tell me what other animals or design do you want to see for these candy holders, and I just might make them. They are super adorable, and they're something that is definitely kid-friendly to make. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.